Good evening and welcome to today's class. This is day 3 of our Excel training, Excel from beginners to advanced. Last week, we looked at basic arithmetic operations. Today, we'll be looking at references. We'll be looking at references, we'll be looking at functions, and we'll also be looking at errors or basic errors in Excel. So, let's go back to our worksheet. So we'll be looking at relative reference, absolute reference, and mixed reference. What are they? Let me take us back to what we know before. This is a cell. Cells are these blocks here. All the blocks we have, they are called cells. And no two cells have the same name. Each cell has a unique name, right? How do we know the name of the cell? I say cells are formed by the combination of a column and what? And the row. Columns are vertically arranged, while rows are what? Horizontally arranged. These are rows, right? So for instance, this is the first row so far is called what? No problem. I'll handle your matter later, Raphael. Thank you. The first one here is called row 1. The second one is row 2. Third one is row 3. As well, this is column B. We have column A starting the column, right? Column A. So to the right, we have over 16,000 columns to the right to column XFD. So we have A to Z, AB to AZ, and all of that. Then to the bottom or downward, we have 1,048,576 word rows. And no two rows have the same name. Do not forget. Each column has a different name. Each row has a different name. All right. So this cell, I said they have their references. Each cell also have its own name. So where A and B, where B, like this column B, and any row intersect, it forms a cell. So where this A is an intersection between row 8 and what? Column B. If you have any question, you can unmute your mic and ask me, or you drop it on the chat box and I'll see it. So this intersection between B and 8 forms this cell called BA. Okay, sorry. Forms this cell called B8. So this cell where this A is called B8. How do I know? We give the name of the cell, or the name of the cell is gotten from what? The column title and what? The row title. Or we call it the column heading and the word row heading, right? So if I click on this very cell where the A is, you see the name of the cell here. This place is called what? The name box. We've discussed this before. This place is called the name box, and you can see there for yourself that this is what? B8. Let me click another cell. This cell, who can tell me the name of this cell? Class. What's the name of this cell? Where we are now? The one that's highlighted. If you want to talk, see the microphone in front of you there. Click on the microphone and talk. When you're done talking, you click it again to mute it. Okay, if you're scared of talking, no problem. So this cell here is called F8. You can see it here. F8. Thank you, Prof. It is cell F8. Yes. This one is called F10. And this very one here is called what? I10. You can try it. If I go down, the last cell to the left to the right is called cell FXD, XFD, 1,048,576. That's the name of the last cell to the right and to the bottom. Okay, so that ends our workbook there. Okay, so I say each of the cell has a unique name. Do not forget, take that from me. So let me enter something called Monday. Don't forget that we are treating what? References. And the reference we're looking at, we have relative reference, absolute, and mixed reference. Okay, so this is what relative reference will do for us. I say this cell, please ask your question.
Thank you. I can see some financial figures there, which I know that are far behind. So I wanted to know how they come about.
We'll get there. This was computed from our last class. I can remove them and we'll compute other new figures today. I used this table to teach in the last class, and I'll still use it to teach you guys today. So what we
Okay,
understand. Mm.
thank you. The way you have highlighted the very figure, the very financial figure, that is what I was talking about.
Yeah, I
I find
understand.
it
I will treat it later. Okay, so I said mixed references, absolute relative. So this place here is called the set selector, this thick green line. And this small box here, you can see the small box here, this small green box at the bottom right of the set selector. It's called what? The fill handle. The fill handle, it does few things, but it used for flash fill and for what? Autofill. Autofill and flash fill, the copy references, right? This is what I mean. I have, I type Monday here. After Monday, what is the next day of the week? Who can tell us? If you know it, you type it. If you don't know it, I move. So I'll not waste your
is
time. Tuesday, I guess. So if I drag down,
Day.
okay. So if I drag down, this is called what? Flash filling. I mean auto filling, not flash fill. This is auto filling. Excel automatically understand that after, that's why it's called auto, automatic. It automatically understand that after Monday is Tuesday, after Tuesday is Wednesday, and after Sunday, the next day is still Monday, right? It continues. Excel understand that very well. So let me type something like January. Excel understands that after January, the next month is what? Is February. Okay? Up to December. You see, February to December. If I ask you, okay, I want honest response for this. How many hours do you think it would take you to write from 1 to 1,000? Drop it on the chat box. Let me see your responses. I've only written 1 to 1,000 once, and that was when I was in my secondary school, other JSS1. They gave me assignment to write 1 to 1,000. And it was so stressful for me. It took me, should I say, 2 days or so to write from 1 to 1,000. And I did a lot of mistakes. Okay, nobody is talking. Me, I can't even tell because I'm a slow writer. Okay, now I want to write from 1. What will be the next number after 1? This one I need somebody to tell me. Okay, Prof say you use 1 hour to write from 1 to, okay. Utip said you use 3 hours. Maybe me, I will use 5 hours or 6 hours. Okay. So somebody to tell me after 1, what is the next number?
you.
2, right? Big Sam said 2. Another person. Okay. Everybody is saying 2, 2, right? 2 or 1.0. Prof is talking like a mathematician. Okay, Prof is saying after 1 is 1.001. So let's see who is correct. So let's see if Excel understand that after 1 is 1.001 or 2. We'll know is correct. Autofill. So after 1, definitely Excel does not understand the next number, right? There is no such number like after 1 is the next number, right? We are to decide what will be the next number after 1. So if I say 2 here, I've given Excel a pattern. What I've done here is what? Patterning, giving Excel a pattern. I'm trying to tell Excel what to do. So Excel will use the pattern between these two numbers. What is the pattern here? The pattern is the difference between 2 and 1. So what's the difference between 2 and 1? Simple mathematics, right? The difference between 2 and 1 is what? 2 minus 1, which is 1, right? 1. Thank you, Prof. So what Excel did, or what Excel will do is that 1 plus 1 will give me 2, right? So when you get to 2, it will do 2 plus 1, because the difference between 1 and 2 is definitely 1. So Excel will be plusing it, because if you move downward, it's addition. If I move up, it is what? Subtraction, right? For instance, if I highlight from 2 and 1, and I want to drag up, what will be the next number? The next number will be what? 2 minus 1. Okay, 1 minus 1, it will give me 0. Because this is 2 minus 1, it gives me 1. 1 minus 1, it will give me 0. So the next number, if I'm dragging up, which is backward, reverse order, it will give me 0. Are you seeing it? So, and what is the pattern? The pattern is still 1. The difference between 0 and 1 is 1. It's saying 1 minus 0 is what? 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, right? So, but if I'm adding it, it will be what? 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So if I drag down, I'll have 3, 5. So if I want to write to 1000, let me use how many seconds, how many minutes to write it for us. So you can tell me if I got into, I've written up to 1120 within few seconds. Can you see? So that's how fast we can write with Excel using what? Autofill. Okay. So, but what I've done now, I didn't use autofill for this. What I use is called what? Flash fill. It is copying what? A pattern. I've given Excel a pattern that after this, use the pattern to give me the next thing. It's same thing like me saying male. Okay, female. After female, we have male, right? After female, we have male. Okay. So if I drag this pattern, what will be the next value here? Definitely it will be female. It will give me male, female, male, female. Or female, male, female, male, female, male. That's what Excel will give me. All right. So what if I write time like 1 p.m.? Who can tell me what PM stand for in Excel? I think it's um I think that should be Greek word or Latin word. Who can tell me what the full meaning of the PM? Oh, that's cool. Prof said is meridian. So what does that mean? I'm listening. Okay, let me help us. So this meridian is spelled meridian. Meridian. It's actually a Latin word, right, for afternoon. Meridian stands for afternoon, right? So both PM and AM, they end with what? Meridian. Yeah. Okay, midday, exactly. Exactly. So, exactly. So AM stand for what? Anti-meridian. Anti, is it anti or anti-meridian? Anti-meridian. Meridian. Which stand for what? Before noon, right? So that meridian is noon, which is midday. Then the post is what? After noon, right? Post meridian is after noonday, right? Okay. So if I write 1 p.m., Excel automatically know that after 1 p.m. is 2 p.m. That's the pattern that Excel understands. Except if I give it another pattern, you see, until I get to 1 a.m., it will continue. You see, this 1 p.m., 2 p.m. till 12, 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m. It will continue like that until I get back to what? 1 p.m. But if I want to pattern it, I can tell Excel that, okay, this is 1 p.m. and I write 1:30 p.m. 1:30 what? p.m. Where you and I come from, when we are writing time, we used to write and join the AM and PM together with the numbers, right? So we used to write it like this 1 p.m. Or if we think if we write 1 a.m., people will not know that. I mean, if we write 1 a.m., people will think that we are writing 1 am, like I am. So that's what people think. They don't always separate this, but this is not time. This is time. If I write it together like this 1 a.m., this is not time. Yeah, I'm just saying 1 a.m., not time. This is not anti-meridian. This is not time, but this is time. You must separate the number from what? The text, right? So if I want to check now, is this a text? If I want to check, is this a text? I can use a function called T. The T is used to check if something is a text or not. If a value is a text or not. If I check, it will return it as a text. If I check down, it will say this one is not a text, right? Because this is not a text. So it will recognize this one as a text. Normally, this is not a text, right? This is not supposed to be text, it's supposed to be time. Time is not text. If I separate the A from AM from the one, it will not see it as a text again, you see. Are we following? If I pattern this, as everyone understand that, okay, there's a pattern here. The pattern between this and this is what the difference between the 1:30 and the 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. and 1 p.m. What's the difference? The difference is 30 minutes. So if I drag down, if I fill down, what will happen? It will add 30 minutes, which is the difference between 1:30 and 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. and 1 p.m., right? It will add a 30 minute to this. So 30 minutes plus 1:30 p.m. will give me what? 2 p.m., then 2:30 p.m., 3 p.m. That's how it will give. That's the pattern I've given to it, right? So this is made possible with what is called relative reference, but we understand it better when we start doing calculation, relative reference. So what we've done now, this is called flash fill. Flash fill, I've given it a pattern, or I can use functions to reference it, right? This is called flash filling. While this one, that is January, that Excel already understands, this is called what? This is called autofill. We use autofill to achieve this. We use flash fill to achieve this. But if I just write 1 p.m., I drag down, we can use this is what? This is autofilling because it doesn't understand that after 1 p.m., the next time is what? 2 p.m. Okay, without wasting our time, let's move to relative reference. So I have this student record or exams record here from mathematics to biology. I want to get the total score for these students, right? I can add more students to them. Let me say I have John. Let me use Prof as my student. Then Prof can give him anything I want. Give him 90 and here maybe 60. We have other students. Let me clear this off. I have other students. Let's say Ralph. Um, I keep having. So there's one thing I will do, but we'll not do it now. We'll do it in our next class. 50, maybe 100, 80. Okay. So let's stop here. I want to calculate total score for each of these students. And what will be the formula or for me to do that or the function for that? Let me not use function for now. Let me use operators. And I will tell us why functions are better than operators, right? So let me use operators here. And I'll say equal to, how do I calculate this? Equal to B3 plus C3 plus D3, right? When we are performing calculation, we don't call the values. We rather call what? The reference, which is what? The cell reference, right? These are cell reference. What is the cell reference to this? Is this B3 is the cell reference, right? This is what C3, that's the cell reference. And what D3, that's the cell reference. Do you get? That's the cell reference to this cell. What we use to reference this cell is called what? D3. So that's the name of the cell. The name of the cell is same as what? The cell reference, right? So now, if I want to calculate, I enter equal to where I want to perform my calculation, and I say B3, which is a reference to this. If I call the value itself, you see that, okay, when I'm performing calculation, if I need to make changes, it will not affect this. And I would choose that here. All right, B3 plus C3 plus D3. That will give me the total of this. So let's assume that this John, his English score was 50. If I change this to 50, the total will automatically change. Well, let me return back first to 40 something. Okay, let me perform calculation to get the same thing here. I say equal to what? 45, without using the cell reference. 45 plus 67 plus 80. That would give me what? The same as this. This is 192, right? But if I change this to 50, this will automatically change, right? That because there is a reference. It's referencing the cell and not using the value. But this one did not change because it's not referencing any cell. You can see that the values were computed, right? We computed the value instead of computing what? The cell reference. So that's the advantage of using the cell reference. So now, I want to perform what is called relative reference. Relative reference is saying, I want to perform calculation to this in relation to this very cell. I don't know if you're getting it. This cell is referencing B3, C3, and D3. That is what? This is a word E3. Are you seeing it here? This is cell E3. Though I've made it place my word total. Okay, this is E3, right? But I think I name it total one other day like that. But this is what E3. You can see it there, E3. So if I get here, this should be what? E4. So if E3 is referencing B3, C3, and D3, definitely E4 will also reference what? B4, C4, and D4. This one reference what? B3, because this is what? E3. E4 should also reference the 4 of the corresponding row, right? This row is row B, and we are currently in what? Row 4 here. That way I want to perform my calculation. So it will reference the cells that follow exactly the same way this one reference. It will copy the reference of this cell, but it will use the current word row to reference it. It will not reference the previous one, except if I mixed it. And we'll get to that where we'll do mixed referencing. Okay, so if I drag down, this will reference this very cell up here, and it will reference the adjacent cell. It will copy the reference of this cell. That's what it means. It will copy the reference of this cell, but to the very position it is, right? This position is what? Is in position 4, which is row 4. If it copies the reference of this one, what is the reference of this very cell? This cell is referencing, this cell is a calculated cell, right? It is a calculated what? Cell. We got this cell from this very cell. If I remove anything here, this one will change. Let me remove all these values. You will not see any value here again. I delete it. This one returns to 0. That's because this is a calculated cell. We did not just get it by typing, by computing. We calculated it using these cells here to calculate it, right? So if I come here, it will reference this very cell. It will copy the reference of this cell. It will not reference this cell. It is copying the reference of this cell word E3. So if I get to cell E5, E5 will copy the reference of cell E4. If I get to, okay, exactly, the total of the E3. Thank you, Big Sam. Okay, so if I get to D7, which is what? E7. E7 will copy the cell reference, the reference of this word E6. That's how it will be. And the E6 will be what? B3, B7, B6, C6, and what? C D6 is D. This is the column. So if I'm here, I'll use this column, I'll use this column. So in relation to what? My current position in the cell, which is what? This row. This is the one I'm interested in calculating. So let's do that and see how it works. So I copy the reference by using what? The fill handle. Do not forget I said the fill handle is the flash fill or autofill. So what we are doing now is called what? Flash filling. The flash fill will copy the reference of the cell, right? So now, remember, this is what? E3. E3 will copy B, C, D of the tree because we are currently in what? Row 3. Each of these value is in what? Row 3, but in different column. And do not forget, I say we use the column title or column name and the row name to give it what? The cell name. So this cell now is called cell E4. This cell here is called what? B4. This one is called what? C4. Why this one is called what? D4. So E4 is gotten by what? Calculating all of this. But we didn't calculate this, right? We only calculated for this. This one will copy the reference of the cell ahead of it, that is over it. This one will copy the reference of the cell above it. So that is it. If you have any question, please ask me. If you have any question, you ask me.
I have a question, sir. How do we calculate the total of the B4 and B3, B4 and B5? How do we know? How can we know the total once? Like, how can we calculate the total of it, sir?
Okay, the total of it. If you check here, I've explained it before.
Okay.
This is called the formula bar. You can see the formula we use to get that, right? In
Equals to B3,
E3,
B3 plus.
yes.
Okay.
So if you check here, this is B3, this is C3, and this is what? D3. We are not entering the values of the cell. We are entering the cell reference. So the cell reference for this 50 is what? B3. Why this one is C3? So we'll not enter 67. Instead, we'll enter what? The cell reference. Why are we interested in entering the cell reference? Because any change we make here will also affect our calculated cell, which is this very total column, right?
Okay.
I gave example. Okay, I gave example using this. This cell was initially what? 45. That's why we got this 192 and here 192. This I calculated what? 45 plus 67 plus what? 80. It gave me this 192. The same thing with this. But if I change this a 50, this one will also automatically change, but this one will not change. Why is this one not changing? This one is not making use of cell reference. Why this one is using what? Cell reference. That's why anything I change in that cell will also affect the what? The calculated cell. So this is like saying these are precedent cell. Why this cell is what? A dependent cell. Why do I call it dependent cell or calculated cell? I call it dependent cell because it's depending on these cells for its existence. It's just like you and your parent. You are dependent to your parent. Without your parent, you cannot be. There'll be nobody like Sam, right? But with or without Sam, your parent exists. So with or without these cells, this cell always exists because they are standalone cells. They are not dependent cells, right? We call them precedent cells. Why this one here is dependent, the one we use to calculate. Okay, to get it again, let's go. I say B3. If I don't want to type it one by one, I can just come and click here. This is what B3. You can see it here. It shows B3. Already, Excel is suggesting if we are using sum or not. I say plus. I type on this one, plus what? C3. I enter plus again, plus this. And this is what? D3. So that's sum. I've gotten my answer. So instead of me performing the same calculation on this cell, it is better I use my word, my autofill, to fill the rest of the cell. And this will automatically copy the reference of the cell above it. And the reference of this cell is this very one. If it's copying the reference of the cell above it, it's not going to copy it under the tree, row 3. It will copy it under the present row that this very cell is. This very cell is in row what? Row 4. So it will not go and copy this D3, this B3, C3, D3. It will not rather copy what? B4, C4, and what? D4. Is that understood? Any doubt, misunderstanding, confusion, unique clarification, please talk to me.
So the FX stand for cell reference, right?
Yes, what we are doing now is called relative reference. Fx is not standing for cell reference. This Fx is showing functions, formula functions. It's saying that you insert functions, right? You can see it here. If I click on Fx, it's telling me to insert what functions. And we'll get to function very soon. We'll be discussing function very soon, right? So this place here is called the formula bar. It's called formula bar because whatever I type here will show you on the formula bar, right? Anything I enter here, it will show you on the formula bar. You see this one, it will show on the formula bar. And I will tell us why this one is showing just 5,000 without the NGN. That has to do with what? Number formatting. There's one person joining us today for the first time. What's the name again? Stella. Are you following us? Are you understanding what we are doing? Stella, are you here? Some people can join online class and just mute their mic and leave.
I'm here. Sorry, it's just that the place I am is noisy.
It's fine. Are you understanding what we are doing here?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's continue. So this is what? This is relative reference, right? So let me perform the same calculation here. This time I will leave this cell and go to another. I'll leave this column, go to another column and type the same thing here. So I'll type first 1,000. Okay, it's having NGN already. Okay, let me remove the formattings of this cell. I'll clear all formattings of this cell. So let me clear the formatting of these cells here. Okay, so let me clear only word format. So we have what? One, and do not forget that numbers are aligned to the right, while text are aligned to the word left. Except if I adjust it myself, like this one, I formatted it myself, aligning myself by giving it what? Left alignment. If not, on a norm by default, numbers are aligned, number, date, and time are aligned to the right. You can see this 1 a.m. and all of that, they are aligned to the right. If I type date, like today's date is 7th, right? 7/10/2025. It will be aligned to the right. Okay, that's because this cell have been aligned. I've automatically aligned this column to the word right. So let me type it somewhere here. Okay, same thing, 7/10/2025. And I enter. You see it's aligned to the right. Automatically, numbers are aligned to the right. So let me do what I did here. What I did here, I formatted these cells with currency. You saw NGN before. NGN. So let me type it here. NGN. NGN. What's the full meaning of NGN? Who can tell us? You see, NGN, it has now moved to the left. What does that mean to us? But before that,
Naira.
what do you say? Yes, Sam, you say something. Nigerian Naira. Thank you. It's Nigerian Naira. So for me to copy this, what do? I highlight everything. I hold my control key. You see the plus sign, Abby? and I drag it to the next one. I've copied everything there to this side. So this one now, I'll type ngn, I space it, ngn, it now aligning to the left, ngn, I space it, and I will tell you small thing, ngn, I space it, and this to ngn, I space it. What does this mean to us? ngn, that I type ngn and it's now been aligned to the left. I say text are aligned to the left, while numbers are aligned to the right. And I entered ngn, which is supposed to be symbol or abbreviation for Nigerian Naira, right? The currency abbreviation. So why is it now being aligned to the left? Okay, I'll format this one with currency. For me to format it, what do? I highlight it and I go to this number under home tab. You see, we are on home tab now here. And here, well, this is the number ribbon group. I launch this place, this launcher to launch the number panel or number ribbon group. When I launch it, I click on currency. You see, this is what Nigeria Naira symbol, right? If I insert this Naira symbol, automatically everything here will have what? The Naira symbol, right? And this is like accounting. In accounting, we have dot something something. We always like that kobo or the digit after the main digit, right? Which is the decimal. But that's not what I want to do. I want to get the same thing, ngn. So I go back to currency. Instead of this symbol, what do? I click there and quickly type ngn with my keyboard, and I see it here, Nigeria Naira. I click on it. Okay. So this is one of the errors we'll be handling later. So this error is the space error. It's saying the space I have here is not enough. This hash error. It's saying the space is not enough. Whenever you see this kind of error, it's telling you the space is not enough to display the current values you've entered in the cell. I space it. But to space it, you click on the grid line here or double click on the grid line, it will size it for you. Okay, so now I can still enter the same thing here, give this one comma 0.00 so that it will look exactly the same thing. Okay, to come with the separator, I can add separators here so that everything will look exactly the same. Separator, 1000 separator, this is 1000 separator, the comma here. So tell me, this and this, they're exactly the same. But why is this one being aligned to the left and this one being aligned to the right? We'll answer the question now. So let me stand here and check if this is a number or it's a text. I'll use it to check if it is a number, and I'll use this side to check if it is a text, right? If it is a number, it will return the number. If it's not a number, it will return empty. But that is not a number, right? Equal to check that, I use a function called n to check if this is a number, right? This very cell. So I said n, I was able to open the bracket, then click on this, close my bracket. It returns 0 because it's not a number. Returns 0 for this. This is not a number, right? So for the same, if I change this G3 to H3, this cell is H3, right? You can see it here, H3. So instead of G3, I should change this G to H, to what? H. And I enter. It returns the 1000, right? Because this is what? A text. I mean a number, not a text. N for number, right? So I'm checking, is this cell a number? It said yes, it returns it. When I check this one, if it's a number or not, it did not return it. It said it's not a number, right? So now I drag down, do not forget that word, the relative reference. I drag down. What is the reference? This very cell is referencing this cell H3. You can see this is N word bracket H3, but this current cell I am now is called what? F3, but it's referencing another cell called what? H3. So definitely if I get to H4, F4 will reference what? H4. If I get to F8, F8 will reference what? Will reference H8, right? Because it's copying the reference of this very cell. Okay, let's drag down. And you see that this one is copying what? H. This one is having what? H8 because it's copying this other reference from the first one or the one that's above it. This one is H7. So this one will definitely be what? H8. But this current cell we are now is called what? F8. I don't know if you are following. If you are following, just give me thumbs up. Let me be sure that you are following and I'm not talking to myself. Okay. So this side, I want to check if it's a okay.
Sorry, I wanted to. I lost somewhere. The X-ray is referencing H
H3.
H3. So
Yes.
how how will you make it reference? How will you make the X-ray to reference H3?
How can I make what?
How will you know that the F3 is behind or at the back of H3? So how will you make the F3 to reference H3?
H3.
Yes.
It's just by adding this equal to. I add the equal to,
Okay,
so I'm
okay, okay, okay.
calculating. Yes. You understand? And there's a
Yes, I
function
do
here, not
understand.
just equal to. I use a function to check because I want to check if this H3 is a number or a text by using what this function called n. This n is called the
Okay.
n function, number function. So the number function will check if a value is a text or is a number. No, if it's a number, right? It does nothing concerning with text. It's checking if a value is a number. If it's a number, it will return the number. If it is not a number, it will return 0.
Okay, okay.
So, but where I'm checking the cell H word, H3, which is what? H3 is the cell reference of this 1000 here. All right.
Mm.
So when I get to 4, row 4, of course, I'm still in F. F will automatically say, okay, what did H4, I mean F4 reference, F3 reference, F3 reference H4. Definitely, when I get to F4, F4 will also reference what? H4 here. Do you
Okay, okay.
understand? Okay. So
Yes, I understand.
this side, I want to check if it is a text or not. Check the formula on the formula bar. The formula bar is showing equal to now. Equal to what? Text. For T is for text. So I want to check, is it a text or a number? So I want to check this very one. Is it a text? If it's a text, it will return a text. If it's not a text, it will return empty. So is this one G3, right? I click on the G3. Is it a text? It said yes. So it returns it as a what? As a text. So the same thing, if I copy down using the flash fill, every other thing here will be returned, right? So, but now let me also change this history and see if it is a text, right? So for me to do that, what do? I change this G to what? To H. I change the G to what? H. You can see it's now referencing H3 instead of G3. And I enter. It returns empty. And if you check here, it has a formula or a function here. The function is what? Equal to T bracket H3. So since it is not a text, this very H3 is not a text, it returns blank. So down to the rest, it will return blank, right? So that's the word relative reference. Is that understood?
Yes,
Is someone lost?
yes, sir.
If you understand it, give me a thumbs up or react with your favorite emoji. Okay, so this is the one we'll be making use of for today. All right, understood. Somebody wanted to ask a question. Ask your question.
Yes, sorry for dragging you back.
No problem at all. That's why
I'm
we're here.
still, I'm still confused on this reference that you made, and the other one is showing number, and the other one is showing
Text.
text. Yes. What makes it different when they are when they are the same?
Okay, hey. I love that question. Thank you very much, Raphael. I nearly forgot it. So they are the same, but you see that the alignment is different, right? This one is aligned to the left. It means this, if I click on this, what do you see here on the formula bar? Read it for me.
2000. That is 200.
Did they show the Naira?
No,
If I
there
click
is
here,
no Naira sign.
what do you see?
It shows the Naira sign with text
And comma. If I
and
click here, you
comma.
don't see the
Okay.
comma. Okay. This cell was formatted. Thank you for that beautiful question. So now let's perform calculation. I want to add 1,000 plus 2,000 here. And let's see what that would be. Equal to what? This cell, right? G3 plus what? G4. Is that true? G3 plus G4. That's 1,000 plus 2,000, right? It's supposed to give us what? 3,000. Why is it giving us value error? I'll perform the same calculation here, and somebody will tell me why it is happening like that. H3 plus what? Plus H4. And it returns 3,000. I also expected this one to give me what? 6,000, but it returns what? Value error.
I think that's because this has been showing text, not.
Thank you. This is number stored as text. We try to compute this NGN manually, which is not supposed to be so. Do you understand? This is like a number being stored as a text. We are trying to write NGN on our own, and it is not good for calculation. It will not calculate anything. Arithmetic calculation is only performed using what? Numbers, right? So when we try, if we try to use text operator, we have arithmetic operators, text operator. I discussed it the other day, and we have other operator called what? Comparison operator, right? Which is the equal to operator. So now, if I use the AND operator, which is what? The text operator AND, it will join 1,000 and 2,000 together. So let's go. You see now, that's showing NGN 1,000, NGN 2,000. Let me expand this. Are you seeing? So this is the AND operator. It will work for text. This AND operator is a text operator, which is concatenation. We have the concatenation function for it. We'll get there when we try to get email, automatic email for us. All right, so this will not work for us because why? It is a value stored as text. So it's the same thing like me writing your phone number. So let me write my phone number for you, 08027 Kinikon, like this. So let's assume this is my phone number, right? Okay, I've formatted this cell already. Let me clear the formatting. Clear format. So this is what? This is my phone number, but it's not showing the 0. Let me enter the 0 again. Let me assume I forgot to enter the 0. The 0 cannot be there. Why? A Z does not, 0 is insignificant in calculation. True or false? Who can tell me the difference between, what's the difference between 0, 1, right? And 1. You see, if I write 0, 1, it will give me 1 because 0, 1 and 1, they are still the same. Prof, true or false? It's true. Prof will tell you it's true. Because 0, 1 is the same thing as 1. 0, 100. Yes. Exactly. Prof said this column was stored as text. That's why we're having value error. You get? But this one here, this one that we are not having 0, it means the 0 is insignificant to Excel. If I must get the 0, there are two things I will do. So let me copy this to another cell. I'll copy this to another cell. Drag down. All right. So I have this now. So if I want the 0 to show, what do? I need to add a character, which is like a text, right? 0. What did I use? I use apostrophe word, or we call it quotation mark. I mean, yeah, quote is a code. This single code. I quote it. You can see I quote it. Then 080. And now it has been aligned toward the left, meaning this is now a text. This is number stored as text. Do you get? So if I want this 0 to show without entering this text, this one I cannot be used for calculation. If I take it to some database, it will not enter because they will see it as the database will see it as a text because of this word character, which is what quotation mark or quote, right? So this one, if I want the 0 to show, what do? Let me go back to number panel or number reborn group, and I go to what? I go to custom. I'll custom it where I have this 0. I will enter 0, 0, 0 on the 0 show in front of this 8 here. So let's enter 0. I will enter 0 on the 0 show in front of 8. This is where I was supposed to enter my 0, enter 0. Okay, you can see it there now that it has shown 080. So if I say okay, now this one will show what 080. But if I click here, the 0 will not show you because this 0 is a formatted 0. Just like this one, you are not seeing the NGN because it was formatted. Are you following? Who is lost? Please not understanding what you're doing. Okay, so this whole number is aligned to the right because of this word single quote, and this one is aligned to this one is aligned to the left because of this single quote. So the single quote now is making this whole number to be stored as a text. Why this other one, if I click here, it's not showing the zero. It means I formatted this zero here. So there was a day I attended NPC training, National Population Commission training, for their specialized workforce training, right? So on getting there, they were trying to collate account numbers of the participants so they could pay us. Okay. So the data quality assistant that was this, they brought a Z sheet. People were trying to enter the person that was doing the data
The
entry for
phone
them.
number.
Yes. When they enter people's account number, like my own account number starts from 003, something, 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 like this. So if you enter, the two zeros will not show. So they were having a lot of issues with that. So one of them told the data quality assistant to come and meet me, that I was the one that helped them to solve one problem like that in WhatsApp. So maybe me, I'll be able to do it. So when they came to me, I told them there are two ways we can achieve that. One way is by adding a special character or this character like this. Like we can add apostrophe, we can add any character to it to make it there. But what that means is that if they take it to a particular database, right, it will see this one, it will read this apostrophe that is here. It will read this single quote. Let me call it single quote the way it is. Then you can also format it this way, and the zero will appear there, right? So that was what I told them. They said, okay, they didn't like this one of formatting. They ended up using this one of single quote. It worked for them, and they were very happy. They were like, are you a data analyst? All these data analysts. I just laughed. I said, what I know. I'm not a data analyst. Then I was not a data analyst, but now that I'm a data analyst, I will do more. I will do more. All
That's
right.
wonderful. Yeah.
What do you say, sir?
I said that's wonderful.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
The issue that's why I wanted to see you on Sunday.
Oh,
The issue now. Yes,
sorry about that. I will
because
see,
the
I will
quality.
see you definitely this Sunday that's coming. If I come there on Saturday,
Okay, no
I will see
problem.
you on Saturday.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so let's have
Okay.
something like this. I want to add 50% to this 1,000 and all of this. So let's assume that this is for John. This 1,000 is for John, 2,000 is for Mary, and Ralph is having what, 5,000 here. So I want to add 50% to this the current figure they're having here. So how do I do that? The 50% is not here. I can have the 50% here. I will say 50%. I'll type the 50 and percent. Of course, that 50%, right? So I have the 50% here already. I want to add 50%. Okay, I want to get 50% of this money here, right? 50% of each of them in this very year one. So let's say the first year they are expected to pay what 50% of this money they are supposed to pay. Second year, they pay maybe 20% or anyhow we want it. So let's just do that and see. Okay, equal to, I say this times this very cell. Definitely, this will give us what? 50% of this, two of us. It will give us 50% of 1K is what? 500, right? So let me copy this down. This is giving me 000. Who can tell me why? Who can tell us why? Okay, so
Can I just
hmm?
can I just make a try
Yes, please.
using the previous explanation?
Thank you. I love
I
that.
think the I think the reason why the first cell gives you the 50% is because it was can I say it was a major cell that you use for calculation,
Okay.
and then the other one could not uh, copy the total percentage because there were, I think, sorry,
Right on. You are very correct. I'm getting you.
I think, I think maybe they are not. Let me. Uh, I'm not in the class again.
You are there. We are hearing you. Okay, let me help you. This very one is referencing this very cell here. You can see this is saying G3, right, times F2. Are you getting? So if I get here, this very one now will be referencing what? This G4, right, times F3. And F3 here is 0. So anything times 0 is what?
Anything times zero is zero.
Is 0, right? Is 0.
Yes.
Yes. So let's practicalize it here. This is 3,000 and this is 0. So let's calculate this equal to this times this to give us what? 0. Are you seeing? So anything times 0 is 0. And this is empty. So it assumes that these are zeros. There is nothing here. So 0 and empty is the same thing. So now, what this one is referencing, you can see it here. This is what? G4 times what? F3. Are you seeing? And F3 here is what? 0. You can see. F3, there's nothing on F3. Because this very one reference the cell above this one. It reference 2. This one will definitely reference 3. This one will definitely reference what? 4. This one will reference 5. And this 6. 7 will reference what? 6 here. And this one, there are nothing here. So if I don't want them to be showing 0, I can copy this one like this. And you see, it has solved it. Are you seeing it? Are we together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
50% of 2,000 is what? 1,000. But we don't want to do this. This is a mess work, right? So for me to correct this error, what do? I need to introduce what is called absolute reference. I want to introduce what? Absolute reference. So absolute reference, what I need to do is to do what? I'll add from here, I'll click on this very one, the calculated cell. Then I come to this very F. I block the F like this with a dollar sign, and I block the 2 with a dollar sign. This is what? Absolute reference. I have blocked this cell. You cannot move to the right. You cannot move to the left. That's what I mean. That when I drag down, everything should remain on this F. It should not move to G. That's if I drag to the right. If I drag to the right like this, it should not move to G. So everything will remain the same. Are you seeing? So if you are sensitive enough, you know that this one is showing me what? 25. That 25 is what? 50% of 500. That's what it's saying. So this one is copying, this one is for this one, while this very cell is making use of this one. Are you getting? So if I drag again, the other one will copy this very cell, which is what? 25. So 50% of 25, 250 is what? Is 125. So if I continue, I continue to copy this one while still referencing this very cell. It's saying don't move to G. So on the norm, it was supposed to move to G, move to H, move to J, and get here, right? Okay, where will it stop? It will stop at I here. Do you get? But it's not referencing that because I have blocked this very cell. I said don't move further to G. Only stop at what? F. So I blocked the F. So from F, you cannot move further. I've also blocked the 2, meaning you cannot move down. So it should not copy this one down. It should only copy, reference this very word, cell. That's what I mean. I have blocked this very cell that all the cells that follows it should not be referenced again. Are you understanding? So I blocked it on the 2 here. So meaning all these ones now cannot be referenced again. Till you get to the 1,048,000 cannot be referenced again.
And that means it will be referencing only the F2.
God bless
Is
you,
that
sir.
what you mean?
Exactly. It's referencing just F2 because I blocked the F, and I've also blocked the 2. It means it's only F2 that is working here. If you drag down, it will not copy it again. That's based on the current cell that I am. So if I must copy the reference of this cell, if I must copy the reference of this cell to others, it will no longer copy what follows it here, just the way it copied here. It will only what reference this 50%, 50%. Anywhere I stand, it must reference this 50%. It will not reference any other cell here again. It will only reference the 50% here, which is what the F2 prof, as you said. It's only referencing the F2 here. So let's do that. I drag down, and you see, it solved the problem for us. That is what absolute reference. Is that understood? If you have any question, you ask.
What about if you write, if you want to block and block, just if you write dollar sign before, you write F2 and block. So can it work?
If you do what?
If you just block F2 without, because in your this thing now, you
Yeah.
block, you write dollar sign F,
Yeah.
dollar sign 2. So why not dollar sign F2, dollar sign?
Okay, F. Why
Do you
not I?
understand what I mean?
No, I didn't understand your question.
So, okay, I said, why not, when you are blocking it, why not use dollar sign F2, dollar sign? So, but you use dollar sign F, dollar sign 2.
Okay, so why not I use dollar sign F2?
Do you understand what I said?
Why not I use dollar sign
Uh-huh.
F2?
Dollar sign. Yes.
Okay, dollar sign F2, dollar sign.
Like this. Yes.
Type it on the chat box. Let me see.
Okay. Uh, to block it like this, can it work?
No,
Hello?
no, 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 no. It will not work. The last dollar sign
Okay.
have no reference.
Okay. It doesn't have reference.
It's not blocking anything. It must start before the reference, right? Remember that the F is for the column. So the dollar sign must come first before the column. And the dollar sign must also come first before the row. It's blocking
Okay.
that row and it's blocking the column. So if you're writing it after the row, it's not blocking anything.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Raphael, are you okay now?
Yes, I'm back. Since then, I lost.
Oh, so sorry about
I
that.
was, I was out of. I don't know where I pressed. So the screen went out on my view.
Oh, okay.
That I
You
was
should,
saying that I've come.
you could have just slide back. Okay, so Prof, that solved the problem. So that's it. Okay, now we are saying for next year, it should be what? This year you are paying 50%. Next year, you should pay what? 25%. That's what I want to do now. So now, instead of having this here, I could say, let me move this up, right? And I move this up. So let's have the 50% here for this year, 50%. Okay, 50%. And I have here 25%. Let me just say that's what I want us to achieve, 25 what percent. We are paying 25% of this money here. All right. So now I remove this and this returns to 0. So instead of that, I should say what H2, right? I change this to what H2. H2. I enter. And that is that. I drag down. He gave us the same thing. Okay, now I want to perform the same calculation for this. So now I'm saying give me 50% here. Here, give me 25%. I have blocked this cell completely, right? So let's see if this one will actually give us 25% if I drag to the right. Okay, it actually gave us what? 25%, right? Because this one referenced what? Is referencing so when I get here, what are you saying? It's still referencing what? It's saying it's referencing this one. That's why it's giving us 25%. Do not forget, it's not giving us 25% of this. It is actually giving us 50% of this 500. It's not giving us 25% of this. So let me change it from 25% to maybe 30%, and you see the obvious truth that it did not give us the right thing. Okay, let me use 40%. Of course, 40% of 1,000 should be what? 400, right? 40% of 1,000 should be 400, but this is giving us 250. Meaning this is 25%, 50% of what? 500. That's what it just referenced now. If I click here, you see it now. That is what? H3, which is this H3 times what? H2. You are saying that's still referencing this one. So this is H3, and it's not supposed to use H3 here. I was going to get this. It was supposed to use what? G3 and what? I2. You get G3, I2 to get this. How do we solve that? And that because we have blocked this completely, right? From here, we block H2. We are saying don't reference down, don't reference up. So if I drag this further down, what will you see? You keep seeing 50% of this, 50% of this, and all of that. But that's not what we want to achieve, right? We are getting it wrong because we need 40% here. Okay? What this is doing is referencing this and still this. You can see that the H2 is still there. And we are not interested in the H2 again. We are interested in what? I2 this time around. So how do we achieve that? We use what is called what? Mixed reference. Mixed reference. So we use mixed reference to solve that issue. Here on 50%, we are only interested in, so let me delete everything here. Let me delete everything here and calculate it again. Say equal to this times this. It will give me what? 500. I mean 500. And if I go down, it's giving me, who can tell me what this is doing to us? Prof, any idea? How do we arrive at this?
It's multiplying.
But multiplying what?
It's multiplying the.
This is saying
It's multiplying.
okay.
Still on that 50%. That is multiplying them. It's multiplying by those numbers.
Saying 4,000 times what? Times
4,000.
3 billion.
3 billion.
4,000 times 3 billion.
Billion.
It's not even in percentage again. Because what this is doing is saying 2,000 times 500. It will give you what? 1 million, right? Then here it's saying 3,000 times 1 million. It will give us 3 billion for us. And that's not what we want, right? We want it to still reference. Sir?
It's no longer percentage.
It's no longer this percentage. It's no longer the 50% we are looking for. So for us to achieve that, what do we do again? We block the 2. We can only block the 2 and leave the H. Nothing concerned H with this. Are you getting? Nothing concerned H because we are interested in dragging down and not dragging to the right. If we are dragging to the right, that's when we'll be conscious of what? The I, right? So now we can just block the 2 with $sign. Blocking the what? The rows, other rows that okay, we only stop at this row 2, don't copy row 3 for this. So if I drag down, you see it has solved the problem for us by just blocking what the 2. So what we are doing, we are saying only block what? Only stop at H2. So don't copy H3. Don't copy H4. Don't copy. So when we get here, each of them will go back and reference the H2 here, right? So, but let's see if we drag to the right, what will happen? Will it also reference this or not? You see, it is giving us 200. And here we are saying 400% of what? It actually reference the I. Are you seeing?
40%. 40%.
Sir?
40%. I think it's correct.
It's correct, right?
Yes. 40% of 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Repeat it.
Okay, when I click here, look at the formula bar. This saying H3, which is this H3, right? Times what? I2.
I
This is I2, right? But that's not correct because we are not referencing, you're not supposed to calculate 40% of 500. It's calculating 40% of 1,000. But now it is referencing 500 because I have not blocked the H here. I mean, this G. What I was supposed to do, I was supposed to also block this G, that only this G should be referenced. Don't reference the H here. Don't reference this H. Only reference the G. Take your reference from G column. Don't take your reference from any other column here. All the reference should be on the word on the G column. And here on the row side, all the reference should be taken from 2 here. You understand? All the reference here should be taken from 2. That's why I blocked the 2 here. All the references should be taken from 2. Even getting here, it should be from 2. This I2 is correct, but this side, I need this column to be blocked. So the two things I want to block here, I want to block column G, and I want to also block row 2. That's what I want to achieve. I want to block row 2 and block column G. So all my calculation should be on row 2 and what column G. Are you understanding it now? So
Yeah.
anything you want to reference row 2 only. Don't reference any of the row. Only row 2 should be referenced. Then anything you want to reference G. Don't reference any of the columns again, because this is what I want to use to perform my calculation. And this percentage are what I want to use to perform my calculation. So I come back here where I have the 500. Here, what do? I block the G. I block the G. That's column G is totally blocked. And here, this other side, row 2 is completely blocked. Are you understanding? Here, I'm not interested in the H.
Yeah.
I'm only interested in blocking the G on this column. The H can keep moving, but here, after the G, don't move any other thing. Only stop at G. Here, I said I'm not interested in anything that happened down here. Don't copy any of the row again. Only copy row 2. Take your reference from row 2 here, right? And here, still row 2. All the rows, nothing should happen to them. But in this side, you can still move. You can see here, this is H now, this other side. You can still move from H to I. You can move from I to J. That because, we have 2 cells here. But on this cell, I'm only interested in what? The column alone. Only the column, this column. Don't reference any other column, this side. This right side, right? While here, to the left, exactly. Only reference the 2, row 2. For the column side, you can still reference other columns going further. So that will solve the problem for us. So here, I drag. You can now see when I get here, it's now 400. What is it referencing? It's still referencing G3, right? Here is referencing I2. That has solved our problem for us. So I can just drag like this and drag down from here. Drag down. You see? So this is like saying 40% of 5,000 is 2,000. So that's it. So here it will still reference G7 and it will still go back and reference what? I2. Here it will reference H2 and it will still reference what? G7. So anyway, it will only reference this G, and here it will only reference 2. You will not see 3 anywhere. Are you seeing 3 anywhere on the right side? You only see 2. And on the left side, you can only see G. You cannot see any other column there. Anywhere I click, you can only see G. You cannot see any other column. But the column to the right will change because we did not block the column to the right. Here, we did not block the row. on the left side, we did not block the row. We only block the column. So it means the rows can stay what? Keep moving. I'm talking about these rows here. They can keep moving under G. We can keep going further with the row under G here. The rows will keep going further. G5, G6, right? Same thing here. But to this side, we're only interested in blocking what? This other side here. We're only interested in blocking the row, meaning the columns here will keep moving, right? If we change here, you can see this is I, this is H, this is I. But it will always remain what? 2, 2, 2 to the right. Why this side will always remain what? G, G, G. Okay? Is that understood?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes. That is mixed referencing.
Yeah, this is mixed reference.
That is
This is mixed reference. Why the one we block one cell, like this one now, if I stand here and remove this, only block this side, this G, okay, only block the H2. I will not block this one. I only block the H and 2. That's absolute reference. This is absolute reference. It will give us the same thing here. But when we are moving to the right, that's where the problem will come in. Because now this one will start referencing this cell. Instead of referencing this column, it will come and reference this one because the G was not blocked here. It means this one, it will move to H on this side. You see now that it has moved from G to H when we get to this cell. What does that mean? Because this one is referencing the column next to it. This one will also reference the column next to it because it's copying the reference of this very cell here. When I drag to this side, it's copying the reference of this cell. What is the reference of this cell? This cell is referencing the column or the cell next to it on the column side. So because this one is copying the reference of this one, it will also reference the cell next to it on the column side, which is this very word, cell. So now it's saying what? 50%, 40% of this very one, of this very H5, which is what? 250. But of course, if you check here, I block this one completely, meaning it's also referencing what? The H2. Anywhere you go, is referencing the H2 here. But referencing the H2 on this very column, because this column was not blocked. So now if I say, okay, I should come back here, since this one is like this, I should just only block the G. If I block the G, right? If I block the G, see what will happen. It will not reference the I. So the 40% is just a waste. So everything it will do, it will reference this one. It will still give us the same thing everywhere. See, it will still give us 500. Everything will give us 500. And 500 here. This one will still give us 1,000, 1,000, 2,005. Because why? Everything is referencing the G and it's still referencing the 50%. If you check here, this is G7. This is G6. And it's still referencing the H2. Everything is referencing H2, which is everything is referencing what? 50%. So to avoid that, what do? We come here and remove.
because it was blocked.
Yes,
Because it was blocked.
completely, yes. So I release the H so that it will move to I and only block the 2. That's what we can do to achieve a better result. All right, sir.